Martinique Brown, and I am the owner and founder of Today I Want to Be. We are solving the problem of kids and youth not seeing someone who looks just like them in a variety of career fields. We are a career exploration resource for parents and educators, and through our interactive products and virtual interviews, kids and youth are able to see representation of their race and gender in career fields that they may not even know about. With every product we create, from our educational aids to our apparel and accessories, we are intentional about encouraging and helping kids and youth see that they can become anything they want to be. We are the only company who not only focuses on career exploration for kids and youth, but we also give them an opportunity to ask professionals about their careers every month during our free live virtual interviews as student co-hosts. If you are looking for a company that is dedicated to helping your child or student see that they can become anything they want to be, make sure you visit todayiwanttobe.com today. Calling all authors and publishers. Did you know Everything Authors has a free downloadable directory of platforms you can promote your book on? No longer will you have to search multiple places to market your book because you can find them here. Download your list today at everythingauthors.com/free-resources. That's everythingauthors.com/free-resources. Want to promote your book with Everything Authors on our web shows and social media pages just like these authors? For less than $9 a month, learn more at bit.ly/promote on web show. That's bit.ly/promote on web show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of Authors to Know and Their Books to Read. I'm so excited that you guys have decided to tune into the show today. I'm your host, Martinique Brown, and today I have Damita Cox here who is going to be talking to us more about her book called When the Third Time Is Not a Charm. So many times we hear, third time's a charm, everything's supposed to work out. But what happens when it is the third time, the fourth time? Do you become discouraged? I'm so excited to talk to Damita because her book sounds so interesting. So we're going to be able to dig a lot deeper into her book and allow you all to ask her questions and have you ask questions about her book as well. So now, if this is your first time ever tuning into the show, make sure you go ahead and share this video now so that more people will know about our author as well as her book and about the show. Now, this is an interactive show, so you can actually post your questions and your comments in the comment field. So now, if you're watching from any other page other than Martinique Y. Brown Everything Authors or Damita's page, make sure you come over to one of those three pages so I can actually see your questions and comments and I can actually relay those to our author as well. Now, the great thing about this show, you don't have to Google anything. If you're interested in purchasing Damita's book, make sure you go to that description box because right there next to that $sign is actually the book purchasing link. So now we're just going to give you a taste of the book. But once you click that link, then you'll be able to read that book summary and say, man, I'm telling you, this is a good one. This is a good one. And you can purchase that book right then and there. Also, if you're interested in staying in touch with Damita, you have her email address right there in the description box as well. So Damita, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You are welcome. So can you tell our viewers just a little bit more about yourself and how long you've been a published author?
So actually, I have more written plays and have written commercials. I attended Chicago State for undergraduate. In my degree, I have a bachelor's in business administration and minor in marketing. Mm-hmm. And I have a master's from Capella in Minnesota in mental health counseling. So I'm a mental health counselor and I was a pastor. So I've been counseling people. Actually, they say that God gives you a gift, and I didn't realize that I had a gift because my sister was this great singer and my brother was this painter and this electrician. But I found out my gift was actually talking to people and people coming to me with their problems.
Okay.
So i.e. why I have the degrees that I have.
So now how long have you been a published author?
I've only been, because I started writing, I think like in college, but my first book was the book that I started on about like 2 years ago. Okay. But other than I've done like a couple of, like I said, plays, I've done commercials. I've written commercials. I used to work for Clear Channel and I wrote several commercials for my clients. So I've always been writing, but the book, just the big book thing came like maybe 2 years ago because everybody kept saying, you need to write a book.
So now with your book, can you just walk us through your book, When the Third Time Is Not a Charm?
So the book is not like everybody thinks it's like an autobiography. It actually, some things happened to me, but it's a collective of things that have happened to me and some of my friends and some of family members. So it's not all just me. Okay. But a lot of the background, because I was married 3 times. So yeah.
So walk us through the book. Come on, tell us about it. Don't hold it.
So I mean, I come from like a very talented family. My mother's sister was Dinah Washington, the Queen of Blues. So and my mother was a music teacher, and then she became a counselor. So I was always around a lot of music and everything, around a lot of dramatic people. I've even acted before. So growing up, I had a very exciting life. I think the part about the husband part was because I was very sheltered. My father, my brother, and my cousins. Okay. So it starts out talking about how when Destiny was in high school, how the brother and the cousins like would threaten guys. So I think basically Destiny just didn't have a lot of experience with men. Okay. And I think that women need to have experience with men, because if you don't have that experience, that's where the problem starts. So even in my book, the book starts out by saying that she had a really good life until she grew up and got out in the world. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like a cautionary tale it's that balance that parents have with how much is too much to expose to my children. Okay. And Destiny grew up in a very religious household. So it's that, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to get married and have children. Mm-hmm. It's like all about that. So I wrote the book for women who kind of grow up with, being kind of sheltered and not really knowing, how to really work these interpersonal relationships with men, which is very important, right, in order to have an important, a long-lasting relationship. Like some women just get married so they can have kids, or they just get married so they can have sex, or they just get married for a partnership. But it's just so much more than that. Mm-hmm. In order to find a great partner for life.
So now, how old is Destiny? How old are you starting with the story of Destiny?
Oh, Destiny, it starts as her being a baby all the way until, about like in her 40s.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So now, I know that you were saying you're talking to us about when she was growing up and into her 40s, how is Destiny with her daughter's father?
Destiny's daughter's father was very beguiling guy, a very nice looking guy, but had a lot of emotional issues. Mm-hmm. So it was really hard for her to really kind of stay in contact because he was abusive. Mm-hmm. So Destiny did not want her child to grow up under those circumstances, but her daughter was able to, meet and talk, not meet in person, but they talked over social media and different things like that. But that was the issue, because he kidnapped Destiny's daughter when she was a baby. So that was a concern. Yes.
So now I know that you said that, and what is Destiny's daughter's father's name?
Daniel, in the book, Daniel.
Okay. So I know that you are a mental health counselor. Were you intentional about having him have mental issues because you are a counselor and maybe you want to shed some light on, like, Black people with mental health issues, and then sometimes we don't address those things and how it can spill into our relationships? Were you intentional about that?
Well, I've always joked with my friends and family that Black people, they act like they don't believe in talking to anybody. Mm-hmm. All of a sudden, my throat got dry, of course. They don't like talking to anybody, or they'd be like, oh, that's my crazy cousin up in the room. Yeah. But they really do. God put mental health counselors, just like he put doctors, he put mental health counselors here, and psychiatrists and psychologists. He put them here for a reason. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Because some people, I'm not a medication person, but some people do need to be put on medication. And mm-hmm. some people do need to be under a doctor's care. They really do. Right. Because Destiny's grandfather had mental issues. So if that had been addressed, maybe her daughter's father would have been better. So that was a good question.
Well, I tried, Damita.
Yes.
So you said that the Destiny's grandfather had mental issues, correct?
I meant to say Destiny's daughter's grandfather. That's what I meant to say.
So Daniel's grandfather had
Daniel's father.
Oh, so
yeah.
Okay. So now, what mental issues did Daniel struggle with?
He was schizophrenic.
Oh, wow.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay. So now, in that, I know that we're starting with Destiny when she's a baby. Can you tell us about her upbringing that hindered her from having these or choosing men that really didn't value her?
So I think it was kind of like Destiny picked those first two had issues like her dad was very hard worker, but once again going into the whole black experience, how black men are treated,
Yeah.
he chose to use alcohol as a way to feel
Mm-hmm.
better, but very
Mm-hmm.
smart, owned his own business, was a teacher, educated, but still had those issues. So first husband, an alcoholic. Now, one thing, Destiny's father was not a womanizer, but
Okay.
the first husband was a womanizer, was an alcoholic. Second husband, drugs, alcohol, not really a womanizer, but mental issues, drugs, alcohol. So I tell people some things are just in your genes. Like some people have never met their mother, have never met their father, and
Mm-hmm.
will pick a mate like their parent. And
Mm-hmm.
you're like, but they weren't even around their parent. How did they end up picking a mate like their parent?
Mm-hmm.
So I just was like, it's just something in their genes. It's something that attracted them. And then my other, the last one, which was such the shock, because this was the one that everybody knew was going to work out.
Mm-hmm.
Same type of family. Now, same type of family in the fact that the last husband, the father struggled with alcoholism and gambling, but had a still strong background. The police officer, mother was a teacher. They came from a very good family, church, went to church, in a like Destiny in a sorority, him in a fraternity, him master's degree, her master's degree, the pedigree was all there.
Yeah.
That was the marriage that was supposed to work.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the great disappointment, because Destiny thought finally got it right.
Yeah, yeah.
Finally. And it lasted, because those first marriages, I think only lasted like a couple of years. That marriage lasted like 15, 16 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the great disappointment.
Yeah. Yeah. With that though, can you talk to us about how parents' decisions can also begin to influence how their kids begin to choose a mate as well, and also just to value themselves. Because you talked to us a little bit about, Destiny's father, and then we're looking into her relationships. Are we able to see anything about the relationship between the daughter and Destiny to see how that looks as well?
So I think even with, because Destiny had a very, very strong mother. So even looking at that, she chose a way to parent the daughter. Destiny chose a way to parent her daughter like her mom parented her.
Mm-hmm.
Destiny thought her mom was a very good parent. And the things that even went on with the daughter, um her mother did try to shield a lot of pain from her. That's
Yeah.
why she left the dad when the daughter Destiny left her daughter's father when she was very young, because she didn't want her to see a man treating a woman like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, even though the marriage didn't last, the marriage was really good up until like the last couple of years. So she did see how a man is supposed to treat a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Just ended up that last person had some issues as well that they needed to check on. I think even with men, I talk to women about this, with even a lot of men don't even go to church. Men feel like they're supposed to, lead the house and they're supposed to do everything. But sometimes you need help, and you're not weak if you reach out for help. That doesn't mean you're weak. It actually means you're strong because you're handling your issues.
That's good. That's good. So now with that though, because you are mentioning that, are we able to see any type of interactions with these individuals that struggle with mental issues? Are we able to see them with any type of professional help or anything?
I did that. It didn't go into it. That could be the second book.
I know that's right. I'll send you my
Right. It didn't
invoice.
go, it didn't go into it like that, with them seeking mental. I do remember that the third marriage, they did go to counseling, the third marriage. So
Okay.
that's talked about. Yes.
So now I know that you mentioned that, you are a pastor, and you actually, you're a mental health counselor as well. Can you talk to those viewers that are Christian and they feel like, okay, well, I don't have to go to a professional, and not to say pastors aren't qualified in this area, but sometimes they do need to go to maybe a therapist or a counselor. Can you talk to those Christians that believe that, okay, all I have to do is pray about it and I'll be fine, when it could be something deeper than just praying about it, but also seeking that professional
Wow.
help?
So, like I said, I believe that, God gives us gifts, and God is the one that gave me this gift. Why would he give me this gift if he didn't want me to use it? Yeah. I feel that God is very purposeful in everything that he does. In Ephesians, it says God gave us teachers and preachers, but it also is saying, okay, if God gave you teachers and preachers, he's giving you other things for the gift of the kingdom as well. Right. So, like I tell people, counseling is directly for you. What you went through. We're not talking about your mama, what your mama like, what your daddy like. It's for you. And people think, oh, it's just talking, but it's also peeling back layers. And then I have a gift, like I was telling somebody, I have a prophetic gift, and God shows me things. And like I have seen stuff in people that they didn't even know. Our mind is very, very powerful. Our mind protects us. There was, and this person doesn't mind me talking about it because they've gotten through it, but somebody I know, they were attacked and their mind hid it from them. And I had to come to this person because I was the one that found them after they had been attacked. And when their attacker passed away, they were like, well, they were related to me. And I don't know why I didn't want to go to the funeral. I said, you want to go to the funeral because this person attacked you. And they were like starting to remember things. They were really young when it happened. And this attack had stopped this person from getting married, from having children. Once all of this came out, they are in a fabulous marriage, the happiest that they've ever been. So that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. Sometimes we bury things in our subconscious. It happened to us, we don't even want to remember because our mind is protecting us. So it's really deep. Counseling is not like what you think. It can, because a lot of times people, I'm not gonna sit up here and be crying. Next thing you know, they be on the they be crying and stuff, because that's getting, those are layers, the peeling, it's coming off of you. You're getting that stuff off of you. So you can live a better life. That's all your daddy God wants you to do, is live a better life.
Why do you think that we're so afraid of revisiting those things so we can move forward with our life?
Because people don't like to be in pain. They don't like pain. And in order for there's a song that, because my mom used to direct a choir at our church, it was a song that said, please be patient with me, for I shall come forth like pure gold. Gold goes through a purifying process.
Mhm.
And so you're being purified, all of that stuff is falling off of you. You're scared.
Yeah.
You don't know what's gonna happen. We
Mhm.
don't like pain, we don't like the unknown, and
Right.
all of that is unknown. That's why people don't want to get themselves together, because they're comfortable in in their dysfunction. They're comfortable
Mhm.
because they know it.
Hmm. Hmm. So now, if you're just now tuning in, you are watching Authors to Know and Their Books to Read, and I have Damita Cox here on the show. We're talking to her about her book called When the Third Time Was Not a Charm. If you're interested in purchasing this book or learning more about it, make sure you go to that description box, and right there next to the dollar sign, you will be able to click on that link and read her book summary as well. Make sure you also share this video now so that more people will know about Damita and her book as well as the show. So I know that you talked to us a little bit about, many people think that, this book is about your life, but it's a mixture of other people's lives as well as your life. What
Yeah.
parts of it can we take away that is like, oh, this is Damita?
Well, probably more like a lot of the beginning, because I go into talking about my family, because we're close to both sides of my family. My parents are both very family oriented, probably that part, and probably the younger, some of the younger things that was done like in college and stuff like that. So that was more probably part of my life. Some
So
of
now
that.
I know that you mentioned that Destiny was kind of sheltered. What is your recommendation though for those parents that are just really overly protective, and then like when their child does go away, let's say for example to college, and they move away, and then they just act like buck wild crazy.
Like
What is
me.
your what is your suggestion on how to just have that balance to gradually like get your child into being comfortable into the world, and you also as a parent becoming comfortable with allowing your child to explore and to make mistakes?
So it was so funny because my dad was a workaholic.
Hmm.
So my mother, she would let me do stuff. And sometimes my dad would catch me and then it would be, I'd be in trouble. But
Hmm.
she let me do like things. So what I would suggest, just be safe about it. Like I remember one time my daughter went on a date. And so my third husband, he raised her because he came into her life when she was 4. So that's who she considers to be her dad. So
Hmm.
I remember she was going on a date. And so we had met the parents. We had everybody's phone number,
Hmm.
and very little nice looking little charming guy. So my ex-husband was very concerned because he was like, we were together at the time, but he was like,
Okay.
I don't know. And
Uh-huh.
so, like, when the little boy came to the door, actually, his mother came in, met us, talked to us. And when my daughter came down the stairs, he flew over and was hugging and kissing all on her. Thank God that her dad didn't see that. And
Hmm.
I was like, get away. You don't want to see that. So
Hmm.
the mom left. And so my ex-husband, he looked at me and he was like, so what's going on? And I said, well, I'm going to take them to the show.
Okay.
And so I was going to stay, but I didn't want to see, there was nothing there that I wanted to see. So when I came back home, he was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, well, I know what time the show is over. I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna go get her. I'm like, we didn't raise the type of child. She's gonna sneak off and she's gonna be doing something. He
Uh-huh.
was like going bananas.
Uh-huh.
And then I'd like text her. She texted me. She said, Mom, the show is over. She said, do you mind if because it was in Country Club Hills. And she's like, at the time it was at Applebee's there. She said, can we walk across the street and go to Applebee's? And I was like, okay, I'll pick you up in Applebee's. He was like, no, you didn't. You let the girl go.
Yeah, you done let her go to the movies by herself, and now she going to Applebee's.
Like, you have lost your mind.
Yeah.
But I remember we did not allow her to date till she was 16. And it was so funny because the week of her birthday, the guy was like calling. And my ex-husband was like, why is he calling here? She's not 16 yet. I'm like, I said, let me just talk to you. I said, people have to make plans. Because my dad did the same thing when I went on prom. Because my dad said I couldn't date till I was 18.
Okay.
Well, my birthday is in June. So my prom was in May. It's like, Daddy, I got to talk to the guy. We have to, compare notes. We have to talk about stuff. And that's all you better be talking about too, is the prom. So I was like seeing my dad like flashing.
Yeah.
And I said, well, sweetie, she'll be 16 tomorrow. And he wants to ask her out to the show, and they want to talk about what show they want to see. Well, that's all they better be talking about. So it is so funny. Yeah.
So now, what do you feel that people will gain from reading the story of Destiny? Like, what do you want them to walk away with?
I think I have a couple of things. Like, I just want parents to kind of, like you said, figure it out, a way for their children to still be safe, but still know about their surroundings and know about the world. I don't want girls to have all this guilt about sex. It's like sex is natural, it's normal. Yes, Christians, we preach that you should be married first, but it's just so much stress. And I don't want anybody just to get married just because they want to have sex or just because they want to have a baby. I just want people to learn from Destiny's mistakes, how just doing things, like her first marriage was like a rebound, and she wanted to, she didn't want to be turning 30 and not being married. So I just want us to just not stress out. I think God doesn't have a time like we do. His time is not like us. It's like, we don't think we do this by this time, we're gonna, something's gonna happen, we're gonna blow up. And so I just want people to kind of get those little tidbits from the book.
So now, do you feel that your book is also maybe for teenagers, just so they can, maybe, I don't know if you talk about the perspective of that parent, but maybe they can have a better perspective of why maybe their parent does act like this, why they try to shun, like, keep them from doing certain things. Do you think it's appropriate for young adults?
I think so. I think high school, college, I think it's really a book that a person of any age can really read, because it's because I have gotten a lot of feedback with people like from teenagers to people in their 60s and 70s, like, I like this part. I like there's different parts that they liked. And that was actually the kind of book that I was trying to write. So
no, go ahead. What was you about to say?
I'm glad it turned out that way.
Yeah, that's really good. And so many people can relate to that, to that storyline, especially because you have so many different other characters. Then I know that we can, draw from one of those other characters in the book. As well. So now, shout out to Corinthians Alston, who's tuning in. He's actually Damita. He's your publisher, correct?
Yes, he's my promoter. He helped me publish. Yes.
Excellent. So now, if you guys are interested in having your book published, make sure you reach out to Corinthians Alston. But he does have a question for you. He said, "How did your family receive your book?"
Just about. I only had one issue with one family member, and other than that one person, everybody else loved it, liked it, took them back to when they were younger, growing up. So I would say 99.9% well.
And how do you accept that, maybe that negative criticism from maybe a family member or friend, speaking to other authors? How did you handle that?
Well, I used to have a problem with criticism. Most of us do, but I feel like if it's constructive, and
Mhm.
I feel like if it's going to make me better, then I can deal with it. At first, when of course, my mom, the person told my mom, and my mom told me, and at first I was upset, but I called them, and I spoke with them, and so you know, you're just gonna nobody's gonna like everything. That's what I tell
Mhm.
people. This is not your utopia, it's not my utopia. So we can agree to disagree. If I think it's a way that I can improve, then I'll accept it if it's done in the right way. And I know sometimes when people are giving criticism, they're actually like tearing a person down. They're not building
Mhm.
them up.
Right, right.
So what I try to do, because being in ministry, I try to mentor people because, Jesus came to save the world. He didn't come to send you to hell. He came so he could, make you a better person. And
Mhm.
so I try to be Christ-like, even when I'm talking to people. And my mother, father, my grandfather on my dad's side and my grandmother on my mom's side, very like to the point,
Mhm.
not always the nicest.
Yeah.
So being around them, I had to curtail the way that I was because I used to be a little rough.
Mhm.
And I wasn't getting the best reception. So I was like, okay, I need to be a little bit more softer, a little bit more
Mhm.
gentler and kinder. Now,
Mhm.
sometimes you do need to um be a little tough with people. Sometimes they need it. So a lot of times I pray and I ask, okay, God, what does this person need? Because I don't want to run them away. I want them to
Yeah.
learn something.
Yeah. Yeah. So now, what did you feel that that was missing from bookshelves that made you want to write when the third time was not a charm?
I haven't seen a lot of books on, you know, like multiple marriages and how people work that and worked it with their family. I haven't. It's been in movies, but I haven't seen a whole lot of books.
Yeah, yeah. And it's so interesting that, Destiny is so young and she's been married 3 times already. So hopefully we'll get another book and we can have, maybe a happy ending with Destiny.
Well, yeah, Destiny uh is having a happy ending. She really is.
That's good. That's good.
Very happy.
That's
So maybe
excellent.
I will write a book about that, the happy
Yeah,
ending.
that'll be excellent. So now, you guys, I always say that authors never just write one book. So if you're interested in staying in the loop of all of Damita's projects, COVID is, allowing us to, a lot of us are getting vaccinated. The world is opening back up. If Damita is in your city, you want to be notified. So make sure you email her if she has any type of email list. Then she can put you on that as well because you want to stay in the loop of the different projects she's working on as well. Again, Damita, I thank you so much for being on the show. And I thank the viewers for tuning in to another episode of Authors to Know and Their Books to Read. Make sure you continue to share this video so that more people will know about our author, as well as her book, When the Third Time Was Not a Charm. I always tell people you do not have to wait until Christmas in order to gift yourself a book, a good
That's right.
read book, or give somebody else a book as well. Be a blessing to somebody else. We definitely hope that you guys have a great remainder of the night, and we will talk to you all later. Bye bye.